Shivaya. This is a wonderful time because we're now entering a new year. It is a time when we're all looking at our achievements in the past, and we also are looking at how we can improve on ourselves. We always want to take a look at what our life is going to be in the future. And it's a way of living life in a very purposeful way, and this is very good. There is one big overriding goal for all of humanity. Actually, not only human beings, but all of creation. And that is, we're all moving towards the big goal of realization of the self. So keeping that in mind, we can now move on to chart what our other goals are. How are we going to achieve this big overriding goal? So we now will look at our life and see what is it we want to do with it. How do we want to perceive and to present ourselves? How would we look when we look back and see next year how this year was lived? To do this, we need to have some very special landmarks, some very special things we're working towards. Everyone will have different ideas of what their life should be or what they want to achieve. But again, I have to remind you that we always must keep this underlying idea of the evolution or the growth and realization of the self. This is the most important thing. Whatever we do, whatever goal we set ourselves, should be in harmony with this big idea. So now, let's take a look at our own lives and ask ourselves, what is it we want to achieve? What is it we want to do with our lives? What are the things we're setting ourselves to accomplish in this next year or so? Perhaps it may not just only be for next year, but for some length of time, if you have a big goal that may require more than just a year. But for now, we can think of that segment that we can work on in this coming year. This way we are able to organize it in such a way that it becomes attainable. Sometimes we do have goals that are very hazy in our minds. And when goals are hazy, they cannot become fulfilled because the mind is not able to work on it. It doesn't understand something that's hazy. We have to be very definite and very clear. For this reason, we need to take a look and then really put out in very simple terms what that goal is. Then it becomes attainable. Then the mind can go to work on it and say, this is how I can do this, and work towards its accomplishment. Many times people want to be involved in positivity and positive thinking, in accomplishing things in their lives, but still they're not so sure what that thing is. If we're not so sure, then we cannot accomplish it. If we don't know what we're moving towards, then our moving is just guesswork. And this way we become like a victim of circumstance. Life is just pushing us here, pushing us there. And we're not so sure, so we're not able to take the right steps and to move in the right direction. That is why at this time it is important to sit down and take a look at your life and see what is it you want to accomplish. And once you are able to establish that, then we can set about to see how we can make it happen. So, let your goal be something that you really feel very deeply about. This gives it a very special quality that allows you to go after it with this passion, with this special something inside you motivating you because you feel for it. And often you might find yourself feeling very deeply about an issue. And this is something that perhaps you've brought from you in past lives. And so it resonates very deeply with you. And when you work for the fulfillment of that special thing, then you find yourself pulling out a lot of reserves that you may not even know you had before. Memories start coming up. And when this is in alignment with Dharma, with the law of life, with that law that sustains the universe, we find the universe supports you and you're able to move in a very beautiful way that you perhaps never imagined before. And this is what happens when we're in alignment with cosmic energies, when our plan is looking towards that big overriding goal of realization of our oneness with God. Now, once we have established what this goal is that we want to achieve, and we have been able to state it in some very simple terms so we can understand and digest it, then the whole being is able now to move forward to fulfill that. Still, we need to make it a little bit more organized so that the mind can follow a step-by-step process. To do this, it would be very important to see how we can structure it in such a way that it becomes manageable, that we can take off little chunks at a time and work on it, and then build, so we have like a success ladder. Actually, this brings us to a very nice image. A goal is something high that we're reaching towards, we're aspiring towards it. It's something like up in the sky most of the time. But if we are setting out to achieve it, we have to make a bridge. And a ladder is a good image we can build in our minds. We can have a ladder from ourselves here under the ground, reaching up into the skies towards that goal. The ladder is the means upon which we can climb and reach that state, reach that goal. So the ladder also is symbolic of the different steps, different levels of attainment we can arrive at. So if we were to, say, divide our year, it's already 12 months, we can have 12 steps in our ladder, and that means we have building blocks here of 12 different levels, and we can divide our big goal into 12 manageable steps, one leading towards the others. And now when we're in this in 1 month, again we can subdivide that into weeks and then days. This way we're keeping that goal alive. Every day we're getting into it and thinking about it. Having stated in a very simple way, we can always each day repeat that statement to ourselves, reinforcing it, feeding it to our consciousness so it's always alive. And the deep subconscious, we're working on it, even though in the ordinary waking time it may not appear that we're working so hard at it. This is going on in the deep subconscious, the body, mind, senses, the whole being. And at this subconscious level, you're not alone. You are harnessing yourself to all of creation, so the universe can support you. So daily, in our meditation, we have a clear, verbalized statement of our goal, and in our mind we have a picture, a clear picture of what it should be like, or what it would be like when it's accomplished. So in other words, we already have a clear picture of the accomplishment of what it would be at a time of this final success. So we have that clear picture in our mind, and then we get all the senses involved. You start to feel it, to taste, smell, all the senses become involved in this time in the morning when you're starting your day. You visualize it, you bring it verbally to the mind, you take a look at it and really experience it. So it's like feeding yourself daily. It's a way of giving nourishment to this idea in your deep subconscious. And from here we can keep working out. So day by day we're working on this. As we have it separated in different segments, we're able to work at it segment at a time, a piece at a time. This way we can celebrate as we are going along too. Every day you set out the goals, your daily goals that is in harmony with the big overriding goal. And as you're going through the end of the day, you can celebrate because they're little pieces that you have accomplished and that you can say, well, it's done.